Nail by Ian Jones and Andy Edwards. Episode 5. The Ship. Friday, 26th of September 1936. Nail's friend Cayo has had a win on the horses. Nail is on his way to meet his friends in the pub so they can help him celebrate his good fortune. There are 4 pubs in town, but we only go into the Ship. The Stag, dirty. Old Oak, too cold, and the Bell, full of youngsters making a bloody racket. Working's Men's Club shut down 2 years ago. So the Ship it is. Eddie the landlord's a good guy, and it's a great place to have a pint and a chat. Lots of ex-servicemen there, dwelling on the past. Suits me, I like a story. Earlier, I'd been to meet the Reverend Penderyn James. Make arrangements for digging the grave tomorrow afternoon. As we talked, I could hear female voices coming from the back kitchen. I can't see them, but I recognise the voices. Mrs. Penderyn James and her 3 black widows. Mrs. Pierce, Mrs. Prothero and Mrs. Priest. All been married twice and all lost both husbands. Both Mrs. Pierce's down the pit. Yeah, poor woman. But this is a powerful coven. Nothing goes on in town without them having and usually voicing a very strong and united opinion. From the flowers in the church, the colour of the memorial hall, and even the time the park gates gets locked of an evening. Blather, 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 blah, blah, blah. Gotta be careful around them, mind. This particular meeting is to arrange the food for Mrs. Cooper's wake. She has kindly left money for refreshments and the ladies have taken control of affairs. I'll be doing sausage rolls. Mrs. Cooper loved my sausage rolls. Well, my Welsh cakes are a must. And my jam, I've still got 4 jars from the summer. And on they rattle. £4 for a pint of water with a few hops in it. No one will be able to afford a drink soon. That said, the pub's filling up and I got a thirst on. Even better, Cayo is paying for the beer. Merv joins us in the corner and we watch 3 lads playing darts against Eddie the landlord. Now Eddie is a dab hand, mind, and he's taking on all comers for a penny a time. He doesn't lose many. 501, boys, double to finish, he says. Shame about old Mrs. Cooper, says Merv. At least you didn't have to explain about the Budgie. Small consolation, Merv, I say. A couple of boys from the rugby club are talking at the bar. If they think they're getting an easy ride tomorrow, they got another thing coming. We got 3 boys coming over from Cwm Gwyn who's played for Neath. And Kipper's cousin from Nant Las is home from the army and wants a game. He's massive. Twice as big as Kipper. They'll have a right shock when they see the size of our pack. They both laugh like 2 evil villains planning the perfect crime. Can't believe that Budgie flew back to her, says Merv. Is there such a thing as a omen Budgie? Suppose there must be, says Cayo. Omen pigeon? Omen Budgie. We both look at Cayo with raised eyebrows. Where is it now to? Asks Merv. That's in my sitting room in his cage, I say. When I took the cover off this morning, he said, Morning, Mrs. Cooper. It feels a bit strange. Merv nods. When I was in the Navy... Merv, not now. And he stops talking. What'd you get up to in town on Wednesday then, boys? Couple in the drovers, says Merv, and 3 in the 3 salmon, says Cayo. Couple in the stag's head, says Merv. Aye, we had 4 in the 4 horseshoes, says Cayo. That's what I put the bet on. Got a tip from Ray in the drovers. Canasta Star, 28-1. Never seen so much money. But oh, don't tell her missus now. She don't need to know nothing. How did you get home then? I asked him. The English brought us home in the back of his van. Swerving all over the road he was. He'd been drinking in the tanners since 7 o'clock in the morning. Couldn't say jam. The door opens and in walks Philomena James and Margaret Griffiths. They look over. I smile. Mrs. James smiles back. Mrs. Griffiths turns away quickly. They stand at the bar and wait to be served. Merv digs me in the ribs. Your turn to get the beer, Neil, says Merv. He knows Mrs. James has got her eye on me. I might wait a minute, I say. Merv grins and makes his way to the bar. What's that all about then, says Cayo. Nothing, I say. Forget it. Merv stands at the bar chatting to the 2 women. Mrs. James looks over her shoulder with a smile on her face. What's he saying to her now? Back he comes with a beer, and the women head into the snug. What are you talking to them about now, Merv? He smiles. I was just sticking up for you, Neil. Mrs. Griffiths is not happy with the way you spoke to her, and then the way you treated her boy. Mind you, Philly James is singing your praises. Wouldn't hear a bad word. Think she's got a soft spot for you, Neil. That's not all she's got, I say. We all laugh and Cayo spits a mouthful of beer onto the sawdust speckled floor. Oh, Cayo! Sorry, boys. In walks Billy O with Ernie buses. Saturday's Ernie's only day off, so he makes the most of his Friday nights. I nod to Billy O and he tips his hat and removes it and puts it on the hat stand in the cutch under the stairs. Never seen a hat on the hat stand before, says Cayo. He takes off his flat cap, stares at it, looks at the hat stand where Billy O's topper is hanging majestically, and then replaces his cap onto his balding head. Not my thing, I don't think, he says. Drinks all around, says Billy O. There's a squeal of delight from all around the bar and a few claps of appreciation. Bloody show off, says Merv under his breath. Don't like that, no need for it. And what would you chaps like, says Billy O, approaching our table. 3 pints of bitter, please, sir, says Merv as quick as a flash. I thought you, says Cayo. Shut up, Cayo, says Merv. Terrible news about old Mrs. Cooper, Neil. I remember her well from before the war. Wonderful, charitable soul, such a shame. Yeah, I say. Wonderful, charitable, oh yes, yes. He walks back to join Ernie, who is now talking to Philly James and Margaret Griffiths at the entrance to the snug. Ah, ladies, says Billy O, what can I get you? Ah, bloody show off, says Merv under his breath again. Pint, please, stammers Morgan 2 times from the snug. Billy O takes a hanky from his crombie and dabs away the specks of spittle that now adorn it. I think he does that on purpose half a time, says Merv. Don't be daft, man, I say. I'm telling you now, convinced I am. Aye, aye, shipmate, says Kipper. Thought I'd find you all aboard. This is my cousin Bryn from Nantlass. Standing next to him is possibly the biggest man I have ever seen. He's like a pit pony on his hind legs. He fills the doorway. Look at the size on you, says Merv. Army's feeding you well, boy? I tell you, when I was in the Navy, well, I roll my eyes again, but I don't stop him this time. When I was in the Navy, all we had was reserve rations, McGinty's bully beef and hard tack. Look at him, Neil. Shoulders like tall boys. He's like a barn doorman. He's massive. I never seen nothing like it. He's like a giant. Where do you live, boy? Lilliput? Okay, you've made your point, Merv, says Kipper. "He like a liar," says Merv. "Oh, shut up, Merv, man," says Kipper. "Why does everyone keep telling me to shut up? You should show some respect. When I was in the Navy..." "Shut up," we all say together. Merv shuts up, drinks his pint and folds his arms. "Drinks are on me, boys," says Cayo. Kipper and Brint and Aunt Lass head to the bar with a handful of Cayo's winnings. The door opens and in walks Die Slug, Margaret Griffiths' husband. The atmosphere in the bar changes immediately. There's a weird stillness in the air, a brooding menace. He's a nasty-looking bloke. Not that tall, but stocky. A powerful animal. He's wearing a long coat and a wide-brimmed agricultural hat. He hasn't shaved for a few days, rough-looking, like a bad guy from a cowboy film. Tell you what, he looks a bit like that John Wayne in Westward Ho. Watched it at the Flicks in Swansea last year. Good film. He's a bit shorter than John Wayne, though. And I suppose a bit fatter. And he's got different colour hair. Nothing like John Wayne, really, I suppose. He looks over at me. I look down at my beer. I know what's coming. He leans on the bar and stares over at our table, knocks back a whiskey and walks over slowly towards us. "What you looking at?" he says to me. "I'm not looking at nothing," I say. "Cleaning my fingernails, I am." "It's rude not to look at someone when they're talking to you. You swore at my wife." I look up, but I didn't swear, did I? "You hit my boy." "I didn't hit him. He was being disrespectful." "Well, perhaps you need to be taught some respect." "Oh, come on now, Di. I don't want any trouble." "Well, you've got it," he says. "Stand up, Nail." Slowly I get to my feet, and sometimes you have to stand up. "Inside or out," says Di. His breath stinks of whiskey as he leans in too close to me. "Do we really?" I say. I don't finish the sentence. "Problem, boys?" says Brint and Aunt Lass. Di turns around and looks up at the mountain that has just appeared behind him. "There's no problem," I say. Die Slug looks at me and then back at Bryn towering above him. "I'll see you again," he says through gritted teeth. I don't answer. He walks to the entrance of the snug. "Get you home now," he shouts at his wife. Obediently, Margaret puts on her coat, says goodbye to Philly James, and follows Di out to the pub. I hope she'll be all right.